I've been not that close to Roland, because Roland was another generation. He was just coming up. I met him a couple of days before in Monaco, and was a very nice guy. I mean, yes, was an Austrian, and of course I had an eye on it, but it was too far apart. He was just arriving, and so obviously I was much closer to Ayrton, you know. But it hits me a lot because it was such a terrible accident. Just when we've been sitting all in the cars waiting for the qualifying lap, and to do a qualifying lap on the limit at this stage it is the hardest thing in racing. And then seeing a colleague laying on the road and getting a hard massage, you know that it's maybe too late. And that's for all of us a disaster to see it.
Your thoughts and your recollections between Saturday and Sunday, so much has been written about Ayrton's mood at that stage and everyone's emotions around the pit lane. What are your recollections about the build-up to the Grand Prix itself?
I didn't realize this at all. I remember well, we walked together to the briefing in the morning on Sunday, and Ayrton says to me, Gerd, next week or in 2 weeks we should all sit together about safety. We should talk about safety. There's a couple of ideas I have. We would like to talk with it. But everything normal. I did not realize anything. There's a lot of stories coming up after, and everybody could read everything already before, but I couldn't.
You were one of those who went to the hospital after the race. Was that something you're glad you did? Or?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. First, we was on the starting grid, and that's basically my last. When I remember him today, that's how I remember him, because it was very nice. We liked each other, really. And I remember in the starting grid, I was behind Mr. Ferrari, and he was sitting in the car already, and I was just walking back. And of course, Ferrari driver in Imola, he was very special there, so I got all the fans jumping up and down and waving to me. And Ayrton was looking to me and was loving and was doing like this, and you could see we've been friends. He was happy for me. And that's the last thing I remember him, and that's how I like to remember him. And then the next thing was, with the start, we was racing, and I remember when he crashed, I didn't see exactly first, is it him, or because he was still circling when I passed by, and I just passed by. I think it was behind Schumacher, just passing by, and I looked, and I said, no, it's okay. Because he didn't look so bad, you know. His angle was not too bad. I mean, in the end of the day, it was the wheel what was the problem for him, you know. Yeah. Then it was the restart, and then I stopped after 5-6 laps, but not because they say I had a problem with it, because I did not realize at all what was or how bad it was. I just had a damper problem in the back, and I had to come in, and I stopped, and I was just sitting on my bench, and then people came and said, well, Ayrton is in the hospital and he's in bad shape. That was the first time that I realized something serious happened. And that's when I decided to go to see what's going on, and not to listening to the usual paddock discussion, to check out really what's happened. So I took the helicopter back to the hospital. We've been there in front of the emergency room. And I was asked if I would like to see him. And I was quite surprised, because the emergency room, you know, and I say yes, and it took quite a while, and then they let us in to see him, and that was a time when doctors were still on his head with what was covered, so we could not really see the head. But we saw his body, and we could stay a couple of minutes there, and that was basically the operation room. Yeah. And I saw his feet and the color of the feet, and at this time I said, well, there's something not working anymore. And that was where I said, well, I don't believe he's still alive. And when I left, then short time after, they told us that he was dying. So don't ask me. I've been there. I don't want to go into any questions, things, because it doesn't change. He had a bad accident. He died on it. And that was my last time together with Joseph, where we saw him.
From that point on, your appetite for racing, did it change? Were things different?
No, I think this is something where how a racing driver is. I mean, we all know, especially at this time, that in certain places you don't want to have an accident, otherwise you hurt yourself or you maybe are dead. But you accept it, and if your friend dies, it's always hard, but happen also on the road, and you don't stop to drive your road car because your neighbor had an accident and died. Of course, for a couple of days I said myself, well, is it a good time now also to say, well, it's enough, we had a good time and don't hurt yourself, or you would like still keep going? But it was just something where I worked out with myself. And I came to the conclusion that I still would like to go on with racing because that's what I like to do, and why should I do something different? And yeah, we all know it's dangerous.